Having been frantically closed down for 3 months in response to the spread of the novel coronavirus in the country, schools are now permitted to reopen, albeit in a specified fashion. Nonetheless, this is still a huge relief to parents and without a doubt to the school administrators themselves, who have had to combat an economic fallout of the lockdown measures that were foisted on them, and save many private schools from bankruptcy. It's really going to save many private schools at this moment. This is also a wonderful glimmer of hope for a number of teachers working in private schools who have had their salaries suspended, not out of spite by the school administrators, but out of sheer financial unsustainability of the continual payments of salaries without students as the source of the payment. Students are not around, so what do you expect them to do? So now, according to the federal government, only the graduating classes such as primary 6, JSS3 and the SS3 are permitted to go back to school in order to ensure that they do not get held back by these unfortunate events. And of course, very little is being mentioned about the other classes and what might be done about that. Perhaps this is because things can be a little more flexible, with those, and the decisions on that can be left to the school. The schools themselves, the private schools, the public schools, the administrators will be able to know what to do about those ones on their own. So they're just focusing a lot on the ones that are trying to graduate so they don't get held back. Although there are serious concerns about the decision of the federal government as regards just how safe things are expected to be with schools being basically reopened, especially with the understanding that most students do not care about the social distancing rules that are going to be expected of them in the schools, combined with the fact that it will be almost ludicrous for you to expect a primary 6 student to keep to mask wearing regulations while in school. All these are very worrying for parents of students who have to return to schools because of this change of policy by the government. However, there is a bright side to this that should quell the fears of the parents. For instance, multiple studies have shown all around the world, especially in Europe and in the United States, that risk posed to young people, even up to the age of 40, are essentially negligible, and children are very unlikely to infect adults even if they contract the disease from their own mate. In a Chinese study, for example, not a single case was found in which a child infected his parents or other adults. So instead, the only thing they found was that it is adults infecting younger people. So it is very difficult for you to find younger ones infecting adults. And then you have to add to this the fact that the American Academy of Pediatrics, which of course is the association of doctors that are focusing especially on children in the United States, are now encouraging the United States government to reopen the schools, stating that there is not a justifiable concern for which the schools may be kept locked down. Now, while this is a very big win in a certain way for the educational sector in the country, there remains some unanswered questions in matters concerning some of the problems. Matters concerning some of the students that will be resuming this July. So students are going to be resuming, but there are still some issues on ground. Now, the question of how the West African Secondary School examinations, that's the WAEC basically, will be carried out is still a question that is lingering on in the minds of many people, because basically, many of the countries that should be carrying out this WAEC together with Nigeria are not opened yet. So many of those countries, for example, like Ghana, like Sierra Leone, like Liberia, like Gambia, have not lifted restrictions on their secondary schools. So I don't understand that it's really going to be going. Maybe Nigeria is just going to chart on, and Nigeria is just going to do the WAEC on their own, or maybe we're just going to carry on with NECO alone. Who really knows what is going to happen? So we're just going to still see what the government is going to say about that, or how that is really going to pan out. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And bye.